Let me get my royalty-free music going. I gotta get the royalty-free Kevin MacLeod.
I think it's MacLeod?
MacLeod? McLeod?
It's MacLeod.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. Let me deafen so I can listen to the audio.
Okay. I guess I'll talk for you, Toby, so you can tell me if I'm...
I was gonna say, that was your cue for you guys to start speaking.
I need you to talk to Roland. Help!
Well, okay, well, it sounds pretty good, but, I mean, we can see how people see, like, if you guys want to change the volume, let us know.
I would have Officer turn up a little.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, just a little.
Let me
otherwise I think it's good.
Let me go! Yeah! Woohoo! Okay. Hello!
Oh my gosh.
Everyone.
A YouTube live stream from
oh my gosh.
PTR Wardens.
PTR official YouTubers? Twitch streamers?
Oh, yeah.
This is not Twitch.
We're official YouTube streamers.
Time to play Fortnite?
No.
Fortnite.
I'm vetoing that.
Okay. I'll give it like 5 minutes for more people to join in, because we're still figuring out audio and stuff. But hello everyone. This is the PTR community stream, because why not? There's a few things we wanted to talk about and kind of go over, just for funsies. But kind of open up the doors and give some transparency, because there's been a lot of like questions, I guess, about like reports and like the backlog and how things are handled behind the scenes. Like, why is PTR staff taking so long to do things? So we're gonna be going over that, and then kind of talk about, I guess, like future things, or just like how things are currently being run, managed, and answer any questions that you guys might have.
They're saying we're a little quiet.
I'm quiet.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, let me turn myself up.
They can't tell who's speaking. I wonder if you could enable Discord overlay.
I don't want to mess with that right now.
Fair enough. Very valid. Well...
We introduce ourselves when we start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
introduce.
the best.
My name's Knives. I'm Contuvies. I'm that one Warden.
Wow.
Yeah. My name's Roland. My game name is Farrago. I'm also that one Warden.
Okay, and I'm Toby. I'm the Warden of all time.
Well,
PTR would not be here without me. I'm the one you all have to thank. I am the one that does literally everything. Anything that those other two say, they're lying. They're lying.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, you know how they said they're just those guys? Yeah, because they are just those guys. What are you here for? What do you do?
How do we mute Toby? Can we mute Toby?
No.
Server mute, server deafen.
Should we tell them how PTR came to be? How we started PTR?
We could have a little PTR story time.
Ooh,
while we're waiting for people to join. PTR story time. I liked realism, and I was a server admin for the PT No Rules servers. Because when Dilo released, I really fell in love with the mod. And it really made me enjoy a lot of PT's work, more than I previously had. And I enjoyed their servers, so I applied to be an admin. I was promoted, oh my gosh. And, I had always I came to enjoy realism, and I was like, hey Nod, hey Kel, what if PT realism server? Because I noticed there was kind of like, quote unquote, a gap in the market, so to speak, for a, heavy realism modded server, especially for PT's mods, because I wanted to highlight the quality that they had. You guys need to make up your minds. The volume is kind of loud, or raise the volume. Have you considered the unmute button on YouTube? I'm kidding.
Quiet.
Okay.
Quiet. Okay, let me turn this up.
So yeah. And so PTR had always kind of been like a little idea thing in the back of, in a little corner of the PT server. But eventually I encountered the ever so wonderful Knives. Hi. Hi Knives.
Hello.
Hi Knives. She's not saying hi back.
I'm here. Hello.
She's not saying hi back.
Hi. Hi.
There you go.
Hello.
This is Toby speaking. And eventually, we got on the topic about some previous work that she had done as a server admin, and she showed me everything, like her experience and the skills that she had, and I was really impressed. And I was like, hey, I've been working on this realism server on, like, the side for a while, and I was curious if, you would, like, want to help work on it. She said yes, and then she forced me to get my ass into gear and actually work on things instead of just being like, oh, I'd love to make a realism server one day, and never actually doing anything. But, hold on. My brain's blanking. Sometimes I can speak, sometimes I can't.
We held hands. We
did
and
hold
We
hands.
made PTR. And
Yes,
Roland and Howdy swept in, and they said, we're also going to help make PTR. And Roland is my bestie, and we do all the stuff and rule shenanigans. And Toby's our realism expert, and it's really crazy.
Yeah.
Toby did
I
all the
I wasn't
profile
very good with
overviews.
the rules.
Yeah.
The first profile I made was Alberta.
Albert. We also tell them about how you came to decide on the profile writers.
They showed me the ideas that they had, and I said, oh my gosh, you guys are my friends, and you have cool ideas? Sweet. Hop to it. That was it, basically. It was just kind of, I'm not good with legitimate reasons, if that makes sense. I just kind of, I go off of vibes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
vibes.
we just wanted to tell you guys, like, pulling back the curtain, we're just a group of friends who decided to start a server and did not expect it to get this big. We're like, oh yeah, like 200 people, maybe 100.
Yeah, when we launched the server for stress testing, right, I was surprised that we got, like, what was it, like 300, 400 stress testers, if that?
No, I think we got 200 in the first round, and then we got a lot more in the
and then we opened up the server, and, like, day one, it was like, teehee, here's 3,000 people, and we were like, whoa.
We're like, oh. And then it just kept on
was
going.
terrifying.
So Warden's day one, like, we could not enjoy the server because we quite literally spent the entire day whitelisting people, so 3,000 people could, like, join. So for the first day, we whitelisted everyone, and then the second day, I was like, this server probably needs staff. So we...
And then boom.
Yeah. And then since then, it's just been expanding, like, exponentially, and it's not something that we ever expected to happen. It's, I expected, like, we're at, like, what, like 11.5k in the Discord now?
We are?
Yes!
When did that happen?
I don't know!
When did that happen? It was 10k, like, 3 days ago. Not really,
Yeah.
but...
We're at, like, 11,500 now, which is, pretty damn big for
Full
as new as
disclosure,
our server
I
is.
never thought we would get more than 700 people.
I thought maybe,
Yeah.
I thought wishful thinking, maybe we'd stay at, like, 2,000. I was like, we'll get, like, 2,000, 3,000 the first year. PTR's not even a year old, and we have 11k people, and it exploded overnight. Like, I cannot exaggerate how shocking
literally.
and how quick PTR has grown, and we're not even, like, doing anything to make it grow. Like, the only thing we did was announce it on PT, which, granted, you know, they have a big server base, but not everybody in the PT server wants realism. They're just kind of there for the mods.
We did, you know, kind of, like, time things a bit. Like, you know, we coordinated
It's a
PTR's
little
release.
strategic.
There was a little bit of strategy. We sometimes use our brains. It's not often, but it does happen.
we did use strategy, but only because we didn't expect so many people. We were
This
like,
is
oh,
true.
we need to get people. We gotta find a way. We gotta find a way to get their attention. We didn't know that that would bite us in the ass later.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, the server just kind of blew up, and we were like, whoa, that's a
When
little
did this
crazy. So we've been doing everything in our best effort to get the server to, trying to get the team to grow as the server grows. It's really hard because the amount of training and everything that goes into the staff role, there's a lot of work that I have to do because I'm the trainer for the staff team. So there's a lot of time and effort that goes into training. Then there's a lot of time and effort that goes into writing the profiles and reviewing the suggestions, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, guess who reviews suggestions? It's Toby.
It's me. Oh my gosh. I primarily review suggestions.
and
they take a long
yes,
fucking time. But I love it. I swear.
But yeah, so it looks like we have a lot of people now, so we can go ahead and start. As we mentioned in the announcement, most of the stuff we're going to be covering is what staff do, like kind of pulling back the curtain and showing you all of the stuff that we do behind the scenes. If we do have to pull up any private information, like, don't worry, we're not going to show anyone's private information. We're only going to use reports that we feel like isn't going to call anyone out per se. We just want to show you guys the process that we follow. And if there ever needs to be like a loading screen or something like that, we have something for that too, so don't worry. You guys won't be privy to any or your information won't be up on stream or anything like that.
yeah. So I will pull up the to-do list and we'll kind of go through what we're doing.
Yeah,
Which one is it? I think it's this one.
I think we wanted to start on
Staff our
report.
Community 2. That's the first bullet
Oh, yes. We wanted to really emphasize. So lately there's been I mean, and it's understandable that people believe, staff, they have colored names, they are, they do all this stuff, therefore they have a responsibility and people look up to them. As much as that is true, we're trying our very best to kind of pull away from that idea, because staff are just as much of the community as, you guys are. You guys are players. Staff are just community members with additional responsibilities. But they are still players. Same thing with us. Like, you'll see us playing on our own server. We play our profiles too, and when we are playing, we don't have our staff hats on. So, heck, we're even privy to, doing mistakes too. Like, everyone does it, and, we just wanted to be honest about that. Like, staff are just as much players, and they can make mistakes, and we do take that into account. So, yeah, we just wanted to... Okay. I see knives crashing. And we just wanted to let you guys know that we're all a single community and nobody is above others. Yes, we do have responsibilities and we do enforce the rules that we have created, but that doesn't make us think that we are above anyone in any way.
Yeah, stuff, I just want to point out too, like, our community, we just want to interact with the community as any other community member does. So, like, when we hop into chat or in game, I understand some people might be like, oh my god, like, a staff member's in my group, like, I'm intimidated, I must do everything 100% correct. We all make mistakes. And I make mistakes even in game time to time. I've had people correct me. We are not perfect. We're a community too. We just want to hang out and talk to you guys and just kind of engage as anyone would, really. And I felt like that was important to bring up because I've seen some feedback that staff might feel a little distant at times, and I promise you guys it's not intentional for us to come across as distant, and we never want to make you guys feel that way. we try our best to hang out with you guys and kind of like shoot the shit, for better word, in PTR chat if we just want to come in and just like goof around, you know. But we love you all. I will say that.
Awkward times. We do like interacting with all you guys. That's why you'll see us in chat and we'll be joking around and stuff. And we do try to rein it in sometimes because obviously we can't go too crazy and, you know, not lead by example, because that is something that our staff are aware of whenever we have a staff meeting, which I guess I can mention. We have staff meetings every other week. They're pretty regular so that everyone is on board with what's expected of them and, you know, the current rule set and everything. And our staff are aware that, you know, they're not supposed to come off like they're robots or authority figures, but they should also lead by example. So when they are wearing their staff hats and they are acting as staff, we do expect them to, you know, be respectful and follow our rule sets. So we do apologize if that comes off a little bit, I guess, like sterilized. We don't mean it to be. It's just that we're trying to strike a perfect balance between being, you know, silly little guys and being responsible adults at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, I will pull up the next bullet point. So, report talk. I kind of want to get into the process of, actually, you know what, I guess after each thing that we discuss, we do want to leave room for questions. So if you guys have any questions in regards to, like, staff and community, I suppose, is the best way I could put it, you're free to ask. We're going to do it kind of expedition themed, where we'll go over each segment and we'll be like, okay, like, if you guys have a question about this segment, you know, but we're only opening up questions for the segments after we've already finished discussing said segment.
Yeah, and please be sure to keep your questions on topic. We're not going to be answering any questions like about PT mods or anything like that. We're only answering questions on each of the bullet points that we cover.
Okay. I mean, I guess I will get into report talk. So I do kind of want to go over this because there's a lot of questions, I guess, about how reports are handled behind the scenes. I've seen people wondering about, like, why reports take a considerable amount of time. Are you supposed to see my script? Yes, this is intentional.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need them.
And also, if there are long pauses, it's because we're waiting for the stream to catch up. We have the latency set to low, but it's really just like we want to make sure that you guys all have a chance to ask your questions. So we do apologize for any long pauses, but it's unfortunately how YouTube works. On Discord, we don't have to do that, but on here, we kind of do.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go over the reporting process. Before I get fully into that, I want to kind of go over the new staff that we have on board. They're new. They're doing a phenomenal job. Like, the new people that we have brought into both the Junior Ranger and the chat mod role, and I do apologize if you hear my bird, she's a little freak, but if they're doing an awesome job. They're helping us a lot with the backlog right now, and we are taking our time to give them the extra guidance that they might need, just so we know, like, nobody feels lost or anything. Training takes a long time. So when I open up staff apps, I go through the staff apps with Farrago, and we sit down, we look through them. They take about 2 weeks to go through and kind of reach out to everyone and let them know the progress of their staff application. Gummy! Sorry, she's she's a little wild today.
Okay. She's okay.
I think she's very hyped.
It's not coming through too bad.
Okay. She's clearly very hyped for community meeting. Anyway, the staff they take a long time to train because I bring them on, I onboard them, we do the interviews. So looking through the applications takes about 2 weeks. Interviews take me about 2 weeks too because I spend like 15 to 30 minutes in each interview. I pull them into a call and we discuss like responsibilities and expectations, and I kind of gauge from that if they're a good fit for the team. And then after the interview, we do mock training. So they get like mock reports in my DMs. They go through the entire training process. I tell them what they did good with their verdicts, what they need to work on with their verdicts. I teach them how to format their reports. I teach them about the investigation forms, our rule break sheet. There's a lot that goes into it. We need to make sure that we are as organized as possible, that we're not missing any information. We log all of the evidence that we receive, because let's say I get a warning on something, right? And I submit my YouTube video, and then I delete my YouTube video, and then like somebody from my report wants to appeal it, and now we don't have that video to reference because the YouTube video is deleted. Like, everything needs to be logged. It needs to be organized. It all, there's a big process to it, and we're gonna open that up and kind of show you guys. So I'm gonna put up our slideshow so I can find a good thing to reference for you.
And by the way, looking away. By the way, when it comes to reviewing the applications and stuff, when it comes to actually onboarding them, that is all knives. Guys, there's nothing wrong with the stream. Stop looking. Just, if there's something wrong with it, then just stop looking. There's nothing wrong. All I see are look, I'm looking at some lambs right now. It's just dinosaurs and the upcoming
What's the issue?
Path of Titans ramp. Like, that's all I see. What are you guys seeing? That's all knives, by the way, who does all the onboarding, all the training. She trained 60 people, and that's individual training, individual reports.
The interviews alone took so long.
Oh, yeah, we both handle the interviews, thankfully, but like the training, oh my gosh, it's insane the amount of work that she does, and it can take weeks, because it's individualized training and individual feedback on how people are doing, and like how could they improve, how they write up their verdicts, all of it, because we don't really have like set templates for people to follow. We expect them to just follow the way that we've done things in the past, so that everything stays consistent. There's also learning the rule set, because obviously we don't expect our staff members to have memorized the entire rule set, but we do expect some high level of knowledge on it. So there's also that, catching them up on that, which thankfully we allow our staff, to, when they do hop in, like, they can ask questions. It's perfectly okay. But yeah, so all that training and stuff, that's why it takes so long for the onboarding, because because Knives is just out there in the trenches, slaving away at all the training. Guys, there's nothing wrong with it.
I'm almost done with what I'm setting up, so just be patient and continue watching our slideshow.
Slideshow.
I keep getting distracted.
Our slideshow, so okay,
It's perfect.
our slideshow is just pictures of dinosaurs that we wanted to show you guys, especially, acting out profile. It's really good. You can see some really good ones in there.
Very accurate.
Highlighting some of the reels of PTR.
Yeah.
We like taking pictures. Toby loves taking pictures. Toby's very good at taking
gosh.
pictures. So you'll see a lot of Toby pictures and a lot of Knives pictures. But yeah.
Someone delete that, please. Thank you.
Alright, did.
So I will show you guys kind of the behind the scenes process of the reports and everything. And yeah, as Farrago said, bringing 60 people on board, training can take anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, just kind of depending on how fast I can respond, how fast the person I'm training can respond, and like how intensive of a reporting process I decide to give them. And I'll show you guys this. Let me pull up my Google tab, my Google Chrome. So this is a report from stress testing. I decided to use a report from stress testing just because these penalties are long expired and, or not stress testing, it's like the first week after stress testing. These penalties, they're long expired, and the rules are pretty much like kind of outdated, so like anyone involved is just kind of it's no longer relevant, you know. But this is a report investigation. So what we do is we claim the report, we put the evidence in here, we download the video, so we always have the video if we ever need to go back and reference it. We title it with who's reporting, the report number, so how many times that they might have reported, and then the date of the report. We open up investigation, and we kind of go through and look at the investigation here. This is my feedback on it. But we watch the video, we give the summary of the video, so we go through and we give a summary. We watch the video very carefully and list all rules broken that we can find, and then we put the investigation in a form just so we can always go back and reference it. And then after that, if we need to log the reports and everything, like if somebody is receiving a warning, we have to fill out the report form. So we go here and we click our name. So if I was handling it, you know, I'd be like, hey, I'm Knives. They broke this category, the offense, the Discord name, Discord ID, all-around name, all-around ID, date of offense, when did they break said rule, the investigation form, that's the link here. We paste that in there. The report discussion link, we paste that in there. Whatever they're getting for their penalty, and when it expires. So that's a lot of information to log. Let's say that somebody is breaking, like, they get like 2 strikes. That means we have to fill out like 3 of these forms, depending on what they did. And then we have the report sheet. It's very long. This is so we can reference all penalties that we have. Some have been deleted because they're old, you know, expired. But I've blocked out the Discord usernames, all-around usernames, and all-around IDs so people can't know who has what, just to protect information and such. But this is our report sheet, so we can always reference, like, any kind of penalty. But reports, they take anywhere from 30 minutes to complete to up to 3 hours to complete. Or even longer.
These are just pot rule breaks. These are just pot rule breaks, by the way. There are 3 other tabs.
Profile,
there are 4 tabs.
Global, Discord. So there's plenty. You know, there's a lot of information.
Can we show the other ones? Because do they show usernames?
I haven't blocked the other ones off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we can show those other ones, but we can definitely show you that one, and that's just
this
one.
And that one. But these two are also entirely separate categories. So there's even more on there. And there's a lot to log. There's a lot that goes into the process. We put a lot of time into each investigation that we do, just to make sure that we get the verdict right and everything, and just to make sure that we can get second opinions if necessary. That said, so verdicts, like I said, they could take anywhere from 30 minutes to write up to like 3 hours and even longer. It just depends. Like, let's say a user has like an hour-long recording. Obviously, the staff member has to spend at least a minimum of an hour watching that recording, so really long time, but also probably watching it repeatedly to make sure that we are getting the penalty like 100% correct, and to make sure that we're being as fair as possible and considering like all sides of the situation. And then we have to watch for report sides. We have to watch for anything that we could have missed. We could... what am I trying to say here? There's a lot that goes into it, right?
So, like, to build off of that, yeah, we also, like, just to further go into detail on that, like, when we open an investigation, we need to have information on the user, we need to double-check their past record, we need to cross-reference their record, and make sure that, you know, we're properly issuing penalties the right way. And then we need to, if you're not a ranger and you're below that, you have to have it approved by a ranger or a warden, so that we make sure that we maintain consistency. And then I think we were going to talk about, a lot of them are not cut and dry. So, like, you might think like, oh, well, a rule break, you just go to this rule and say that they broke this rule, and then it's done. But a lot of them aren't cut and dry, and we have to consider like the nuances of rules down to the very second. And that's why it takes a long time for us to review videos, because we will be scrubbing the video second to second to see, you know, how many body lengths is this? Is this 8 or 10 body lengths? Did they wait a few seconds to bite, or, you know, who started the engagement? how long did they linger in the engagement
Yeah.
before an active effort to move away? Do we want to go lenient on them, or have they done this before? Like, we have to consider all of this stuff every single time we do a report.
And it's not really something that we can cut down on the process either. I saw some people saying like, oh, well, maybe you guys need to rework the system. Unfortunately, this is what all of our staff are trained on, and it is the system that works the best for us for the kind of atmosphere that we want to bring. Because we are handling a realism server with several rules and profiles to consider, the best method is quite literally watching the video, writing down a summary as we watch the video, and just going back and listing what rules are broken. We have a coder on our team, Captain Facepalm, who's going to be trying to expedite the form logging process, because logging the forms is arguably one of the most time consuming and frustrating parts of reports. Forms are very annoying to deal with, but it is how we log all of our evidence to make sure that we cover all of our bases, and to make sure that if we ever need to go back and amend something or like look through something for our sake, that we have all of the evidence and stuff logged. So the forms are 100% necessary, and that sheet, that big sheet that I showed you guys, that's also 100% necessary. As time consuming as it is, it's just in case we need to appeal anything, because it does happen. We get a lot of appeals, and then we have to go back and look through old videos. And just in case like the reporter deletes their video, we have that video just in case we need to appeal something. You know, so there's a lot that goes into it, but to cover all of our bases and to make sure that we are giving the 100% like best verdict outcome that we can give, that deep dive of an investigation is required. Obviously, you know, we're not perfect. Sometimes we do make mistakes with verdicts. Like a staff member might miss a rule, you know, it happens. But for the most thorough investigative process, that is what we try to do.
Yeah, and so the report's taking a while. That's been a topic that people have been on for quite some time, and we are aware of it, and we do sympathize with the fact that you guys, you know, have to wait a month, or it's usually 2 weeks to a month for reports to be taken or tickets to be taken.
It's been
and
a month recently, yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten more because we've grown more. And I just wanted to clear the air and let you guys know that unfortunately that probably won't change due to the ratio of staff to users. If so, like, let's say we're being generous and we have 50 staff available all working on reports, and we have 10k users. That would mean every day one staff member would have to monitor 200 users each. And that's just like, obviously those aren't accurate numbers. Those are purely estimates. And
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, I'm being generous with 50 members because we have about 30 members right now, staff members that can actively take reports. Well, we are onboarding now, but I'm going easy on them because they're still learning, you know, they're still learning the ropes.
14 rangers and 31 junior rangers. And then we have 21 who are still in training, and that number might change because as time goes on, we do lose some staff members. Maybe they decide like the role isn't fit for them, or maybe they want to try a different role. So that is our staff to community ratio. I'll go over those numbers again. We have 14 rangers, 31 juniors, and 20 who are in training, and that is compared to a community of like 11k. So.
Well, that's just in the Discord. We to be fair, we do only have 6,000 actual campers, which, you know, still quite a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when it comes to that, unfortunately, we have put quality over quantity. We don't want inconsistent report verdicts. We don't want staff to be dismissive of people when they feel like they want to be heard. Even if some people might call their report petty, we don't like doing that. We like to consider all reports, regardless of whatever other people think, because we want people to feel heard. So we're gonna put quality over quantity. And I gave an kind of like an example when going over this with staff. I was telling them, hey guys, the backlog probably isn't going to change, and that's okay because we're more, you know, we're focusing on, it's like a handmade crafts. You know, if you go to a craftsman and you ask for him to make you an end table, like a carpenter asks for an end table, the turnaround time is going to be a lot longer than if you just go to IKEA and buy an end table there. Because if we wanted to automate the system and completely go full corporate, we could, but it would come at the expense of staff. There would be staff morale would be extremely low. The quality of report verdicts and reports and staff to community communication would be very low. So just overall, we are going to work on it. Obviously, we don't want the backlog to be that long. It's just that realistically, it's probably going to stay that way until we catch up on staff to user ratio.
Yep, and that said, even the new juniors we got, who I will say again are doing a fantastic job with everything that they're going through. They are smashing through the backlog. But even with the new juniors, let me give you guys some insight on everything that we do for them. So when somebody is onboarded, right, and they become a junior ranger, they're an official staff member. They're officially a part of the team. However, they still need their verdicts to be approved before they go out. Why? Because they're still new. You know, they're very likely to make mistakes because they're still learning everything that they need to do as staff. And we don't fault that against them, of course not. But what we do is we do go through their verdicts and make sure that their verdicts are accurate before we allow them to be sent out. So a junior could claim a report, right? And they could look through the entire report and they could give the verdict. And then a ranger needs to go through and be like, okay, like I approved your verdict, you know, here, it's ready for send out. So 2 people have to look over the report in that case because we want to make sure that juniors are not sending out false verdicts and make sure that everything is accurate. After some time, you know, after they get some more experience on their belts, they can get removed from the report review, so they're good to go ahead and send out their verdicts. However, reports that have bans or probations need 3 ranger approval to make sure that we don't wrongly ban anyone. So 3 ranger approval for that, or a warden approval. So we are making sure that we are checking all of our bases and making sure that, again, you know, quality over quantity. So reports do take some time, but we just want to make sure that we get out the best reports as possible.
And that kind of segues into our next topic, which was tickets. This is just reports we've been talking about. We have not even spoken on the sheer amount of tickets that we get every day. And
check this out.
All the work that we just explained to you that goes into reports, the same amount of care goes into tickets. Because we get a lot of private reports, and we get a lot of talk to a mod tickets, and we have a few warden tickets. The wardens are also constantly working every day. Because we have to approve stuff, we have to look over stuff, and some of the stuff is really heinous stuff, you know, that we have to go over, and we don't really want to show that to you guys because it can be triggering. So I believe Knives can show you some of our tickets now, if you'll go ahead and look at the screen.
Yeah, so I'll scroll through and I'll show you guys how many tickets that we have open. So we have... these are all private reports. These aren't even in the correct category. The reason why they're at the very top of the server is because they are overflowed. They are, we have so many of them that they go to the top, so they're not even in their proper channels. And then we have, this is where we investigate reports and stuff, Discord rule breaks, message logs, etc. We have our help tickets here. So, you know, if somebody wants to redeem a perk, they'll open a perk redeem ticket and we'll claim it and we'll help them out with that. So, perk redeem. All the reportings, of course, the report discussions, and this is where things get a little bit messy. We have private reports, we have talk to admin tickets, we have talk to warden tickets, and these are all the unclaimed ones, and then we get down to here, and these are the claimed ones, and these are claimed private reports. So there's a lot, you know, it's not, I'm just scrolling through, you know, there's a lot of channels and a lot of tickets that we have, so there is quite a lot that we do behind the scenes. Different types of tickets, I can actually show you guys this. Where is it at? Whip. Tickets. Here it is. This is our staff guides. We have some written staff guides for our staff members just to have like things written down so people can continue to see like consistent information. But this is our tickets guide, so we got the ticket definitions, the TTA tickets, talk to admin, private report, help me, log request, etc. And then this is how we handle everything. So we get log requests where we have to give hunger for people, or like to give people chats if they need, dinosaur growth, who attacked me, stuff like that. Help me is people who are stuck in terrain and whatnot, perk redeems, penalty appeals, regrows, private reports, talk to warden, talk to admin. There's a lot of tickets that come through, and tickets can be about anything. If somebody just has like a regular concern, we talk it out with them in a ticket, or if somebody wants to private report, we talk about it with them in a ticket. We are mining. We got lots of things to go through. There's a lot to cover, and they're time consuming, right? Because if can't talk. When we claim a ticket, we claim it, we talk it through with them, and then after we submit our response to them, we can't just close it off. We have to give them some time to respond and give their input. And if they want the ticket to remain open, and if they want to continue discussing, that is more time that we have to spend with them. Obviously, we are more than happy to discuss with our community members about concerns in their ticket and stuff like that, but it does take up a lot of our time. So if nobody has responded in the ticket within like 24 hours, we close it off. But if people keep opening up discussion in their ticket, we gotta leave it open pretty much until they're satisfied with the outcome. So that is how we handle private reports and stuff like that. And private reports, as Roland said, we do put the same amount of care and investigation into private reports. It's not like we just open them up and we're like, oh, like, rule broken, have a good day. We still have to do a thorough investigation, unless they're reporting for a revive. If you're reporting for a revive, and you're like, hey, like, I don't want the person to get penalized, like, I died to a rule break and I just want my dinosaur back, we can handle it, like, same day. Because all we need to do is just run a grow command. And then you're good to go. Like, we don't have to investigate reports in that situation. So, private reports where they want no punishment are pretty quick now, because we have passed that, previously staff would have to investigate fully. But we just made it to where now they don't have to fully investigate and they can just regrow, if that's what the community member wants. But we just gotta, there's just a lot of them. There's a lot to go through.
Which is why we're having this, meeting in the first place, because we want you guys to know, like, we're not really exaggerating, like, we're not exaggerating when we're like, oh, we're busy and stuff. Like, we're not trying to give you guys excuses, genuinely. It's just that we are busy. All of staff is constantly working, and if they get busy with life and want to go fishing, then they go fishing, and we will not ping them. Because at the end of the day, okay, Knives is teabagging. At the end of the day, we communicate all this to staff. I love hammering in that staff are people. Staff are community members. And just as much as we wouldn't question a community member hopping off the game for a while, we can't question staff for wanting a little break. They want, if they, like, a lot of the time, they'll be working when they're sick, looking at Eth. They'll be working when they're sick, or they'll be like, oh no, I really want to help out. I want to do this. And we're like, no. And we will actually force them to have the gone fishing role, because these guys, they crave the mines. They love it. But no,
the
like,
children yearn for the mines.
They yearn for the mines, but like, we love our staff, and we want them to stay safe too and healthy. And if we feel like they're working and stressing themselves out, then we will put them on go fishing forcibly. We will force them onto forced fishing. Forced fishing. But yeah, so, like, all of that on top of that, like, we have to consider, we all have lives, we all have jobs, and yes, we have decided to open the server, but it is a private server, and we want it to stay human, like, we want to be down to earth, and we don't really want to go corporate, because we're not really, like, we're not a store, we don't do same day delivery, and we're not a grocery store or anything like that. So just all that to keep in mind, and that's why we wanted to show you guys the tickets and the reports, not to be like, look at all what we have to do, but to really, like, back up some of our claims, because we don't really want to okay, yes, we're not a Walmart. I said the line. We're not a Walmart because we're not. We're not, you know, like we don't consider our staff employees. We want them, they're volunteers. They're community members who volunteer, and we want them to be happy just as much as we want the community to be happy. So that's why we wanted to show you guys all this, you know, not for any negative reasons, just to be like, hey, look at this. So I believe our next point that we're covering after the tickets was
Uh,
what?
it
What
was.
oh, you forgot to put on God mode.
I did.
So we can go into a little bit of other staff responsibilities, because on top of the reports and on top of the tickets, we also expect them to monitor chats.
Do we want
and
to stop
monitor
and give
chat
them
again.
a chance to ask
Oh,
questions
yeah.
about tickets and
Question
reports,
time.
though?
Okay. I mean, I felt like the staff responsibilities are kind of wrapped up in all that, but if you guys have any questions, go for it. We're just gonna give you guys a little bit of time because we know that there's a delay, so
How do
don't even
Discord
worry
reports
about it.
work? Are they the same server reports, and are they just as frequent? We don't get too many Discord reports, like people reporting people for Discord side incidents. They do happen. They usually happen within private report for a justifiable reason. You know, if somebody's making you uncomfortable, you probably don't want to publicly report them if it's like harassment and stuff. So we handle those in private tickets. The Discord report investigation things, here, I'll show you. This here, where's it at? Just like this is the report investigations, you know, so we can see all these. The Discord rule breaks, it's just for incidents that are reported on our Discord. It's also for things that chat mods catch in the moment. So like if somebody says something extremely rude, you know, in PTR chat, we log it in the Discord rule break thread. So it's not just reports, it's also things that chat mods catch as they are watching chat. For staff interviews, are interviewers required to speak, or can they use chat to respond? Since the last batch of staff applications opened, I've allowed for both voice-based and text-based interviews, so you can select whichever one you're most comfortable with. My preference is voice-based, just because I get to kind of,
We get a better feel
Yeah.
for the interviewee.
I get to intimidate you a little more.
No, it's not what happens. But voice interviews generally allow for like us to get a better idea of like who you are, what you're about. It's very different to talk to somebody in a voice chat versus communicating with them over text. You know?
But if you're wondering, because we did have some people apply, and they mentioned that they were hoping for some accommodations due to health issues. Like, that's perfectly fine. We do accommodate for that, if that was your question.
How does replay affect reporting, and will it ever be accepted? Currently, there are some bugs with replay. Health is not always accurate, and while knowing something's health can be very important to like the actual report, especially if it's like death scars or something, and if the replays aren't being as accurate as possible, then we could potentially give incorrect verdicts and those kinds of things.
To answer Ducky Dex's question, yes, if staff want to go fishing for a few days or a few weeks, that's perfectly fine. All we do is we just have them let us know, so that we know that they'll be absent, and then we give them the role.
Yeah.
And we do voice text instead for interviews.
What do you
it
mean
helps
by
me better
voice
choose
text?
my words.
Is it like sending voice notes? Like, I think Discord has the feature where you can send voice notes.
I think they mean text to speech.
Text to speech? Yeah, you can use text to speech.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't. I mean, we highly encourage a like voice chat, but if it's absolutely like out of the like just not available, then we're fine.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is there a limit to how many chat mods you guys are hiring? No. We love
There's
our
never a limit.
There's never a limit to staff. In fact, our latest update log, we are keeping staff applications open all the time now.
Yeah, so if you ever want to apply for the staff position, you can always apply. there is in the directory channel on our Discord server. That is where you can find the staff application. They're going to be open 24 hours, or 24 hours, what? 24/7. Like, I'm not closing them again in the future, but I'm not always reviewing them, right? I'll be reviewing them every 2 to 3 months, just so I get a break, because training does take a lot out of me. And I work a full-time job, and it's a lot. Training it's a lot of work, and depending on how many people that I'm bringing on board, you know, obviously I want to give them the best quality training that I can give them. So I bring on a limited amount of people. This time I went a little crazy. Like, I'm bringing on 60 just because I understand how understaffed we are. So I was like, I want to get as many people on as possible. And it's been an experience, you know.
Reeves, or as we know, Caesar, one of the profile creators, answered the question about if we have certain chat duties for other roles, and we do. We have chat mods, we have rangers, we have check-in. All of that is covered in the directory, and it'll also be covered a bit in the staff application. But for the...
I was going to say, you know, since we're already here, security is for chat mods, rangers are report handlers and in-game mods, and check-in handles applications. That's all of them, right? Yeah, that's all of them. Junior rangers are, you know, working up to be rangers. They handle reports, but they still need approval when they're doing their verdicts. Yes. Like we mentioned earlier.
All staff are required to be 18. All roles on PTR are required to be 18. The reason why, and no, there is no leniency. I will not hire minors, and I understand that might be disappointing to some people, but we deal with a lot of troubling things behind the scenes. Like, for example, we get private reports where there's, like, severely inappropriate conduct, or, like, you also need very tough skin.
Sensitive material.
There's a level of maturity that is required for these positions. You need tough skin. You need to be able to view sensitive material. I'm not comfortable subjecting minors to the kind of material that we do get, because, like, you know, there could be NSFW issues, or there could be, just other things in general, you know. It's not something that I would feel comfortable as, like, an adult saying, like, yeah, a minor could do this, because they can't. It's stressful at times, and I want to protect you guys, and there's a little too much that goes into it for me to feel comfortable bringing on somebody who's, like, even 17, you know, like, it's 18 minimum.
What do you look for in interviews? Are there certain traits, or is it just vibes?
So generally, like, me personally, what I look for is a person's level of professionalism, and how easy are they to talk to? Are they open? Do I think that they could talk to campers and, you know, come off a certain way? Do I think that they could handle the stressors, for lack of a better word, of staff responsibilities? But I know that Knives has her own things.
What I personally look for is I look for past experience. So obviously, you know, you don't need experiences as an admin or anything, because I train you in full. But I'm also looking for, like, oh, maybe this person's worked in, like, community service. Maybe this person does customer support. You know, those kind of things. It's not super important. Like, it's not, like, make or break it. But those are good qualities to have. I also am looking for how you handle pressure in the moment. I understand interviews can be a scary thing, so I don't fault people too much if they're like, oh, I don't know what to say, like, I'm nervous, you know. It's like, it's okay, you know, I'm not here to bite or anything. But I am looking for people who can speak to me with a level of composure, and I'm looking for good quality, thought out answers. Like, if you open up a staff application and you give me one sentence per answer, I'm not really looking for that. I'm looking for people who put effort into their staff application, and I'm looking for people who, during the interview, have a good view on how things are. So some questions you might run into if I do interview you is, like, what do you think that the PTR staff team could currently improve on? Because I want to know your input. I want to know what you think that we are doing poorly. I want to know what you think that we could do better, just so I can kind of gauge, like, what I could potentially expect from you. I'm also going to ask you about how familiar you are with PT as a whole, like our modding group. I'm going to ask you a bunch of other random things, but the goal of the interview, it's not to stress you out or anything. It's not to, like, I'm not vibe checking you, right? Like, I don't care if you're, like, the most funny person on the planet. If you're not a good fit for the team, you're not a good fit for the team. There's a lot that goes into it, and I can't give you an exact yes or no. Like, here's the rubric of how you become staff, because it's really dependent per person. I believe that I have a pretty good gauge on people. Like, I can kind of understand personalities and, like, how somebody might be during the interview and kind of go based on that. So, you know, just be yourself. Answer the questions with honesty. Try to give me as much information as possible, because if you're responding with, like, one sentence, I'm gonna be like, no.
Not everybody is fit for staff, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna hold it against you if we don't think you're a good fit for the team, and it's not for everybody. Like, I may be a warden, I don't handle anything with staff responsibilities, okay? I sit in my little corner and I work on the profiles and like the server's infrastructure, I guess, and I don't touch any of it because I know I'm not a good fit for it. And it's just how it goes sometimes.
What else? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just saw a question that caught my eye.
Oh, I've been going down the chat. That way I'm making sure nothing gets skipped. Does a staff applicant's platform, like console or mobile, affect their chances to be selected for Ranger?
Okay, here's the thing. No, but I highly encourage you to not apply for Ranger if you play on mobile or have only access to, like, a mobile device. This isn't anything, like, discriminatory or anything. It's just the report investigation process is incredibly hard to do on mobile. I was at work yesterday, and I did 15 reports on my phone, and it was crazy because you have to do so much back and forth of going back and, like, looking at certain video evidence, and you have to log the forums, so you have to, like, go to a different tab, and it's very tedious on mobile. It's not impossible. You also have to download
also, like,
the
searching.
YouTube videos, and and you have to search Discord for, like, registry
hell.
and stuff. Yeah, it's really bad on
Discord
mobile.
mobile fucking sucks.
Our staff positions volunteer. Are they paid? We are all volunteers. Wardens are not paid. Like, we are all volunteers who want a silly dinosaur realism server, and we do it for you guys.
Do chat mods still do tickets?
So chat mods don't go through and claim tickets. They're not ticket handlers, but they can pull people into tickets if absolutely necessary. Like, let's say somebody's being a menace, you know, and they're saying some stuff that they shouldn't be. And chat mods will be like, yeah, I don't really like that. So they'll time them out, and then they'll pull them into a ticket and be like, hey, man, like, I timed you out because you're breaking rules. Like, let's figure out what's going on with that. And,
or if they need clarification on, like, a situation that happened.
Yeah, if they want to pull someone into a ticket and be like, hey, like, I saw these nesting posts. Like, did you have something happen with your nest? Or, like, what's going on with that? So they have access to creating tickets and pulling people into tickets, but they don't handle ticket reports.
Are there any applications for the naturalist/trail guide role, or how does it work if you want to become one? Okay, so naturalists, there will not be applications for. So naturalists are profile writers, and I'm incredibly selective about that, and there's not a specific process for it. It's just me doing me things. And trail guides are people that will be teaching profiles. I plan to open those eventually, but unfortunately it's not something that we've been able to focus on recently because we just have so much going on all the time. One day there will be applications for them, like there have been applications for other things, which we still need to get through, but we're working on it. I'm sorry. But eventually, yes, trail guides will be able to be applied for. And is it okay if someone doesn't 100% know the rules when applying?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is okay. We do consider that when going through your application, we do consider that because there is a question that asks how familiar are you with the rule set, and you can learn it. Like, that's okay.
I was about to say, honestly, I think being a staff member helps you learn the rule set, like, the best way possible. Because when you take reports, you have to look through and be like, okay, what rule is broken? So you watch the video, you go to the report, to the rules channel, and you cross-reference, and you're like, oh, like, this rule was broken and this rule was broken, and then you kind of like that kind of solidifies in your mind. You know, you learn and you train by experience. So once you handle something where something happens, that's going to kind of stick with you, and you're going to be able to know it for future situations, whether it be report handling or in-game events.
It is important, of course, to have a good understanding of the rules, but it's okay if you don't know everything perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of rules, and they're all very detailed, and even us wardens fuck it up sometimes. And I wrote the rules. We all helped write the rules.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Nobody's perfect, okay? You know? And it's okay if you're not 100% about the rules.
Yeah.
What about staff that were let go because of stuff that happened in private discords? How is that handled? Staff are treated like community members.
Yeah, there's no leniency for staff members. It's not like, oh, you know, you're staff, so like let's say you break a rule, like your staff, or actually, okay, I'll kind of open up this a little bit. So staff, I start looking at them with my eyeballs when they get strike 1. Probation for staff members, that's an automatic let go. If a staff member receives probation, they cannot be on the team. If a trainee receives a strike 1, they can no longer train for staff, and they'll have to reapply when their penalty expires. When staff gets strike 2, like already established staff, that's when we kind of need to be like, let's have a discussion.
It does kind of depend.
You know? It depends on the rule broken. So like if it's accidental, you know.
If it's an in-game rule, you know, and you know sometimes things happen. Again, people make mistakes. If let's say if they're getting Discord strikes, then, you know, that is definitely becoming an issue. You know, if they're breaking our Discord rules.
Yeah. And
it
staff,
depends.
It's not like staff break a rule and we're like, oh, you know, we're staff, so we're not going to penalize you to the full extent. No. Like, if staff break a rule, they're still getting the full penalty. It doesn't matter what rule it is. You know, they're treated just the same as any camper. They're still ruled on in the same effect. People getting removed from the staff position for incidents that occur in a private Discord, there's things we have to consider. Is it like a private Discord? Is it related to PTR like at all? If it's not related to PTR at all, we have no jurisdiction. You know, we don't rule
unless it breaks no tolerance.
Yes,
like obviously
circumstances. It's circumstantial.
Yeah,
we can't just make a blanket statement. There we go.
And that's something we'll go over later when we get to zero tolerance. But if somebody says something like a slur, and it's in a private server, and it's not a PTR dedicated server, but they still say a slur in a private server, they're still getting banned because a slur is a slur.
Yeah, like in a derogatory way.
Yeah, in a which again
it gets iffy. Again, circumstances.
Yeah, we'll go over that when we start going over the zero tolerance stuff because it's very, very case by case basis. I did see a question up above that one though. Is there a specific schedule for staff members? Or are they allowed to work at their own pace? They're allowed to work at their own pace.
We don't force staff to. We're never going to do something where it's like, staff need to work at this time and you need to do like X amount of reports before you can play. You just kind of do whatever. You help out where you can.
We don't punish staff.
It's a volunteer position. We're not going to force people to work because that's just going to make them... It might make them, not put in their full effort, which means that we might have reports being handled, mishandled, or it could just make them not enjoy being staff. And if you don't enjoy being staff, you know, why be staff? And then we're just gonna lose team members.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not too strict on them when it comes to getting stuff done. Obviously, like if you have like 2 months of inactivity where you're playing on our servers and you're not doing anything, we're gonna pull you aside and be like, hey, we've noticed like extended inactivity from you. What's up? Like you need to go fishing or... And then we'll just kind of discuss from there.
Does a staff member's ability to record gameplay affect their ability to complete the job?
No.
You don't. Oh, I think what you're trying to ask is like, do you have to go in game and like record people and like report what you see in game? No.
If you don't want to be staff while you're playing, you don't have to be.
Yeah, I play all the time and I see rule breaks and I'm like, you know,
report it.
I'm a player right now. I don't care about talking things out. And even if I'm in spectator mode, I won't like. Sometimes I'll reach out and I'll be like, hey, just so you know, like you're not engaged, like back up a little bit, you know. But if I'm playing to play, I don't want to think about staff work. I'm just enjoying my Dino game.
Yeah. Let me see.
Is this video going to be viewable again after it's over? I don't know.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're going to put it up. It'll be up on the channel.
Okay. Any last questions about just general staff stuff, I guess? I'll give it a second.
Give it a second for the delay to catch up, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious how replays will, if they ever affect a part. For some reasons, but I've honestly rarely seen those issues, bugs, and we've already covered that. Unfortunately, we cannot accept replays at this time because they are buggy. There's places where we'll see people in groups that they're not actually in, or we'll see people taking damage that they're not actually taking, and because of how buggy it is, we cannot take them.
Yeah, there may be a time where we might accept them in, like, accompanied by a video. But even then, like, there's
Too iffy.
even the small chance for bugs is something we'd like to avoid.
If there's any chance that it affects the outcome of a report and, like, the punishment somebody might receive, like, I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is zero tolerance getting a section later? Yeah, we'll cover zero tolerance.
How are you guys doing with how the server has grown? I'm checking in on y'all personally. I'm very proud of PTR. I put in a lot of work for it, but
we love PTR.
Yeah,
we're just tired sometimes. We also want to play the game sometimes. Is this Visa Bermuda? Yes.
Oh God, I wish.
Okay, well, since that seems to be all the questions, we can move on to. We actually already covered penalty logging. Wow.
Great.
Warden review and responsibilities. We can go. We already kind of covered the knives training methods. Holy shit.
Show the script. Show the script.
Okay,
pull up the script. You didn't answer my question. No, Ron, we cannot hire you as a personality hire.
Oh, yeah. I specifically did not speak that one.
We ignored your question. We did not answer it. We chose not to.
Ranger Ron is not happening.
Sorry.
Are you guys
take this L?
Are you guys planning to change Utah after profile since it's rework this year? This is more of a staff meeting, but I'll answer that real quick. I have the profile redone.
Yay! Toby's been hard at work. This actually does kind of segue into our next topic.
Warden responsibilities.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Warden responsibilities. Toby is constantly in the background working. Me and Knives and Howdy, I miss her so much. We're constantly in the background working. You can go ahead and show them the Trello, right? You can pull up the Trello that we have.
Hold on.
You could at least show them the done, like the done tab that we have.
Yeah.
We just put this into effect, by the way. Guys, it's just dinosaurs. Look, see, I see Latin.
I'm scared.
It's just Latin, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I can show the Trello because I don't think. Yeah, I can show the Trello.
Yeah, okay. So
private,
Utah's profile is mostly the same, but I have you know, like the recent profile reworks that have been posted for like bars, Kentro, Yoon, that stuff, where I've just generally just improved the writing because I've improved a lot in the past, you know, months of PTR being open. Just also like, you know, cleaning it up, adding new sorts of content and all that. And, you know, and also making slight adjustments to account for new changes that are coming with the mod. Oh, okay, yeah, Warden responsibilities. So, I'll go while they do their thing. I'll talk about what do I do as a warden? My job, I handle I guess like I mentioned earlier, I do kind of handle what I consider the infrastructure of PTR. So, one second. Sorry. Anyway. I had to talk to my mother. Gosh. I said 1 second. Anyway. So I handle the naturalists, and I am constantly bossing the naturalists around, telling them to do profile edits, making them look at suggestions that are relevant to their profile, and just overall giving them feedback. I go through the suggestions, I pick out the ones that meet the criteria for review. I bring them up to the other wardens and occasionally like the rangers. And I'm just like, okay, guys, what are our thoughts on these kinds of things? Are we implementing? That kind of stuff. And I write up all the feedback, which, fun fact, I was working on it the other day. Going through all those suggestions took about 10 hours, in case you guys were curious. So, it's a lot. And, I update the resources. I also do rule edits. Like, I did the rule overhaul when that came out a while back, and I just kind of make edits here and there. Yeah, I don't interact a lot with the community from a, like, more staff point of view of things. I'm just kind of here. I do things, I promise.
We're all here. Honestly.
We're all just here for vibes. Yeah, I know the resources are a little outdated. I've been working on it. The great thing is, we have a lot of resources. The bad thing is, we have a lot of resources that need constant updating.
Yeah.
So, Knives, do you have the Trello pulled up, or do you want me to go over
I got it.
some of the other... Okay.
So this is our Trello. This is how we stay organized with behind the scenes stuff. So I'll kind of go over each tab. I'll scroll in because I don't know if I have like private information on it. I don't think I do. I kind of looked over. Board resources, of course, card labels. This is for us. Verdict approval. We used to have a verdict approval in the staff channels. This is for the junior rangers, this is for the junior rangers who need their verdicts approved. So rangers will click on these and they'll look at their verdict and they'll mark it as it's in review, so we'll go through the verdicts and approve the junior rangers' verdicts so they can send them out. Report takeover. This is for if staff are like, hey, like I took this report but I can't do it anymore. They'll put it on their report takeover. Perk redemptions. This is of course like if we're doing a perk redemption. So if I click this, it'll take me right to the perk redemption. I'll be like, wow. This is the perk that I need to redeem. This was... Oh, that's secret, actually. That's not coming. That's not happening. Ranger review. This is if rangers need to review anything. So, like, bans, because rangers can put bans in. So, they'll put the bans on here. Warden review. This is all the stuff that the wardens have to go through and review. And this is our done tab. So, like, everything that we ever finish, we will put it on here. So, this is, like, all of our verdict approvals, all of our bans... this is how we stay organized. So there's a lot that fills up. We recently added this because it helps us stay organized and just keep track of everything that needs to be kept track of. We try to get to it as soon as we can, but since we're having the server downtime, there's a lot of work that's getting done because I kind of, when we announced the server downtime, we announced to staff too. We're like, hey staff, server's coming down, so let's look at some reports and everything, and everybody is helping out and doing an amazing job. So the Trello is bumping. There's so much that we got to go through, but to kind of reiterate like what our warden responsibilities are, and just kind of to go through like what each person does. I'll start from down up, I guess. Check-in, reviews applications, answers all the questions in the check-in chat, and tells people they'll help them out with their applications. They review all the applications. We get like over 1,000 applications per opening, so check-in team is very busy when they do open. So check-in does so much work. They have to review each application for like AI and stuff. Shout out to check-in, security. I keep forgetting that we changed their name. Security, keeps an eye on the chats, goes through like any information that they need to check, and they'll watch over our chats, the nesting channels, looking for group and stuff. Junior Rangers' main focus is reports and private reports and talk to mod tickets. Hello? Just started flying. The Rangers, they're approving all the Junior Rangers' verdicts. They're also handling appeals. They're handling higher up, more sensitive information. And Wardens, we keep an eye on everything, and we have our own jurisdiction or like categories. So, Toby, profiles, expeditions, the overall like overlay of PTR, just like fixing up the rules and the profiles and like pushing out the update logs, suggestions. Roland helps me with staff, and he also handles events. So, and then I handle staff and training alongside Roland. So it's a lot of stuff that we have to do, and a lot of it is behind the scenes. So you guys can't see a lot of the stuff that we do, but just know, there's so much organization. There's so much. There's so many tasks that need to be completed. There's so many tickets that you guys don't see because, tickets aren't public. So if you're ever wondering, like, you're scratching your head, you're like, my report's been up for a week. Why isn't taking it yet? Oh my gosh, staff's so slow. There's so much behind the scenes that we help you guys out with too.
Yeah, and we actually can't show you the Warden tickets because those are like super, super private. Yeah, but we do have also Warden specific tickets. Because we changed the name to like you can speak with a warden now, and it usually involves some very private matters. So we also deal with that on top of the same thing. We also obviously we monitor staff and we answer all their questions. We make sure that they're all on the right track. I see. Have you guys considered making a registration application harder? I think we're kind of nearing the end of this segment, but to answer that, I'll just go ahead and answer that question now. We have, I don't know if you've checked out the application lately or how long you've been in the server, but the application now is much harder. It's much more rigorous to get through. It's been completely, almost nearly redone, thanks to the lovely check-in team who gave us a lot of feedback and helped write it themselves.
Of course, it is important to note that a lot of the time, it does, like, making an application harder also means that it takes longer to review. And, our check-in team is still pretty small as well.
With 1,500 plus applications coming in, we gotta keep in mind for their own sanity. I understand, like, community...
2,000 now.
2,000? Oh, shoot.
Yep, it's 2,000 each time.
Are you kidding?
No.
When
Yes.
did that happen?
It's been 2,000 each time.
All right. That's a wrap. We're closing it down. I'm done.
Okay.
Honestly,
man, you know what? This is actually...
Let's close PTR forever.
This is the PTR closing meeting.
Yes.
You all got fucking bamboozled. We're done. We're done. I'm tired.
Got him. Haha, we tricked you.
But yeah, we are
I
constantly
see those
making...
hearts rolling in. There we go.
Yeah, they're happy. They like that.
Oh, they
Let's
like
go.
it. Oh, they like it. Okay, we'll close it down. Whoa.
They're like, yeah, no more PTR. Free.
Yeah, no more PTR. Let's go. Whoa.
But yes, the application has seen some changes over its time. So we've drastically changed it from what it was from stress testing to the first batch of applications, and we're moving the questions around. So each round people are getting some new questions and new categories, and we're always thinking of what to add to the application. But in general, I mean, if you haven't seen it for a while, what the application covers is it's like you must agree to read our Discord profile, or not our Discord profiles, our Discord rules, our server rules, and our profiles, and follow them to the best of your ability. So people are aware of the rules and everything within them when they join the server, and they agree that they'll follow our rule set. And then we also throw some questions in there like, can you group on Rex? How do you whisper someone? Just to make sure, we're trying to cover our bases, maybe like see if they know how to not misuse global and stuff like that. So there's some questions on there and just some general like information and stuff, but we're also asking about them and like why they want to join our server. So our check-in team, they put a lot of effort into reviewing them. Shout out to them. They're amazing.
We love you. Love you so much.
So we'll go ahead and start taking questions now because our next segment kind of goes away from Warden review and responsibilities.
What is the next section?
Staff, how they handle conflict, and the quick thinking that we expect from them, which we kind of already went over, but then after that, we cover zero tolerance, feedback, and suggestions.
Okay.
I mean, I did kind of cover feedback and suggestions, so I think we're good.
Well, we are going to cover zero tolerance.
Yeah, so if you guys have questions about whatever we just talked about, I already forgot.
Warden, like questions for wardens.
Oh, questions
Yeah,
for
let me-
wardens. Yeah.
Yeah, questions for wardens.
Do
Will
not
there ever-
ask how to become a warden. The answer is
Yeah,
no.
the answer
Nobody
is
will become a
no.
warden. Sorry. Whoa.
I will be a warden till I die.
I mean, this isn't really a related question, but it's here. Will there ever be a PTR 3? No. Not until we get at least triple the staff we have. That is the stipulation. That is the one stipulation. We need triple the staff that we have.
We need no backlog. I'm talking like
Yeah.
reports are done the day they're submitted.
Yeah.
Yup.
So, I understand, like, you want to get into your realism server.
We want to get into our we want our friends to get into our realism server, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we don't feel comfortable opening up a third server with the amount of staff that we have. They do their best and they do an awesome job at it, but due to the community size and the reports that come in, because we sometimes get 15 to 20 reports a day, which is insane. That's a lot of reports. We get a lot of reports per day. It depends on the day. It depends what happens, I guess. Like I said, I went through the Discord reporting channel and I claimed all the reports for a day. Like, I went to a day and I claimed all the reports for that day, and I did 15 reports. And we get a lot of them. So, imagine the potential of having an additional 10 to 15 on top of that because of a third server. It just opens up more room for reports, more room for staff work, like perk redemption, stuff like that. And it's going to increase the amount of complaints about Backlog, because the Backlog will get worse.
As much as we would like to, it's just not feasible.
I think it'd be so cool, but it's just not
I
possible.
would love it. I would love to be able to play with my friends.
I know, me too, man.
How is it treated if a check-in staff recognizes a potential application as someone who rule broke in a separate server, very frequently and had extremely bad behavior?
Taken into account. We believe in second chances, and we want people to feel like they're getting a second chance on our server. But if it's like blatant, like, I am just going to join this server to break rules, like we see that behavior in the past, we'll be like, what did you mean by this?
Or if they've broken their no tolerance policy.
Yeah,
as
if
well.
it's zero tolerance, they're not getting in.
If it's zero tolerance, there's no shot.
Like, for reference, a large portion of the pot community server owners, we're in a server. We communicate with each other, and we know who problem people are.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like, people who slur, or people who, like, just blatantly
Have been
break rules. So
Yeah.
we communicate with each other. Like, I communicate with Arizoa, WWD, Mesozoic. I communicate with the, server owners.
How many of them are there? There's like so many.
There's so many in there.
There's a lot of them.
Granted, it's not universal. You know, just because one server has like had a rough experience with somebody doesn't mean that we're automatically gonna assume they're a bad fit for PTR. It is a case by case basis.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll ever like strictly deny somebody just because they've broken rules in another server.
Would that person be watched more carefully if allowed into the server? No. We wouldn't like spectate them and like keep an eye on them and stuff. We don't have the resources for that, and two, it's not really fair because we don't do that for other community members. And like we said, we do believe in second chances. It's just like if something is brought to our attention, you know, like let's say they get reported, we'll be like, oh, you know, that name rings a bell, and then we might check and see, and we'll be like, oh, well, you know, they did something on this server, so if they continue the behavior, maybe they're not a good fit. We're not like breathing down their neck and it's like we're watching you, you know. It's not very fair for us to do that, but
we try not to,
you know.
We try not to do bias either. Like negative bias against people, we avoid that happening. Even positive bias. Like we don't allow staff to take reports that involve friends or that involve them. You know, we try to handle things as neutrally and as point blank as possible.
I want to correct that real quick. Staff can take reports
and nuance
that involve friends. It just depends on if they believe that they're biased. So we leave the open-ended opportunity. Like, if you think that, like, let's say, you know, like, my partner gets reported. Am I going to take that report on them? Probably, because I have no issue giving them a warning, you know? Like, I don't really care. Let's say...
ban me at the first fucking opportunity. If I am on thin ice. If I ever do anything wrong, they're gonna take me out back. Help.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Yeah, I would.
Let's
say, you know, somebody else is like, they're like, hey, you know, my best friend got reported and it's the next report in line. Can somebody else claim it so I don't have to? We allow that. And if staff are involved in the report, they can't take it because obviously, like, if you're directly involved, you know, you can't handle that.
There have been circumstances where I've seen Knives and Vertigo give warnings to our friends.
Yeah.
So, you know. But of course.
Real quick, we're not going to be addressing any profile questions and stuff like that. It's just going to be on-topic questions. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
This is more in regards to the community, the rules, the staff, reports, etc.
You can save some profile questions for the trivia night / Toby Talks night, because after that, I'll be talking a bunch about the profile writing process. And I can't answer a lot of questions about the profile stuff because there are quite a few profile writers, and I did not write every single profile. I know, hard to believe. I'm kidding. But yeah, you know, it's just you patience. There we go. You'll get the opportunity to ask the questions eventually.
After the PTR skin mod, do you have anything in mind to expand? I mean, I'll go ahead and answer this.
It's kind of up to PT.
So we are a subsect of PT, and we communicate very closely with Not and Kel. We run a lot of our, like, when it comes to modding and stuff like that, that gets run by them. We use their mods, and they ask us for input and stuff like on their mods sometimes. And when, like, the skin mod is going to be a PT skin mod. And any further mods that are PTR specific will still be released by PT. They're just going to be like, you know, realism specific mod or whatever.
Yeah, like a PTR map in quotes. I would be okay with it. You know, like let's say a small
PTR map. I want to encourage more aquatic gameplay.
I would love like event maps. Like I've had a lot of nice job. I'd have a lot of like cool events planned eventually when we have the time for it and we're not swamped with everything else, but like I have an idea for like an event where it's kind of like set in a more polar kind of region and exploring those kinds of dynamics with dinosaurs, and I would love like a snowy map and it's like nighttime constantly. I think it would be very cool, but that's pretty far in the future.
Yeah.
A Wolf Quest map.
Wolf Quest map? Okay.
Okay.
How do you guys plan on balancing between dinosaurs? Wait, I butchered that sentence. How do you guys make the balancing between dinosaurs seem fair yet realistic, so making PvP seem more realistic and not watching an Achilles soloing a Giga, for example? Achilles are medium, correct?
Yeah.
You need at least 3 mediums to take on a huge. It's in a rule set, so we balance out dinosaur sizes because we give each dinosaur a size. So, for example, like Latin small. Whoops. Latin small, so smalls can never hunt huges unless they're like unhealthy, you know.
Nice.
So it's within our rule set that we kind of establish these bounds. Of course, we have to consider the flaws of the game itself. So we can't be like, oh, you know, like we're gonna change each dinosaur's stats and each dinosaur is gonna follow strict rules for XYZ to make it the most realistic possible. Yes, we try to take realism into account as much as possible. However, you know, Pot is a flawed game and there are fundamentals in Pot that just are not realistic. So we take into account what we can.
Amarga.
Yeah, Amarga.
Alderon butchered Amarga, and so Amarga got some TLC from us stat-wise. But like Knives was talking about, there's a lot of thought that goes into stats, what stat changes go through. Generally, we try to keep things minimal, because it's a personal preference for me to stay somewhat true to the original balancing, and I try to keep things, like stat changes not invasive, so to speak, so it doesn't significantly alter your gameplay, but it does make things, you know, more in line with what we're looking for. So, let me, okay, the Campto changes, okay? So the Campto changes were made because in the base game, Campto is very weak. And in PTR, Campto is a territorial small herbivore. So there were complaints that because they were so weak, it was difficult for them to hold a territory. I looked into this, we did some testing, and we have adjusted Campto's stats to make them more capable of fulfilling their role in PTR, as well as just generally making them more fun to play. That said, as I mentioned, I tried to keep stat changes fairly minimal. Like, I don't mind doing smaller changes to dinosaurs, just like little tweaks here and there. But for pretty expansive stuff, like let's say boosting something's combat weight a ton, I'm not gonna do, because I want to stay true to how it is originally meant to play, you know? Most of the time. Sometimes I'd say, Alderon, you make bad decisions, and I do my own thing. Like what I did with Marga. Lehemvio got butchered, but hey, the TLC is coming out soon, so I want to see how that plays out before I do anything.
Lehemvio!
I know.
Yeah, we usually just play it by ear. We don't like jumping into stat changes or anything like that, so that's why, like, when Alderon makes a decision, we roll with it. We're like, okay, and, like, we see what happens, and if the community really doesn't like it, we'll take that into account. Toby, I see a suggestion question for you.
Yeah. How do suggestions work? How do you decide what to take seriously and what to disregard? Basically, a lot of it depends. So all suggestions get looked at. It's just that the ones that get reviewed are limited by the amount of, like, thumbs up they have. The amount can change in between. It's just kind of like, I look at the average, and then I see which ones received good, like a solid amount of positive community feedback. And then I give those review. Not everything is reviewed, but everything is looked at. So, you know, even if a suggestion doesn't get a ton of thumbs up, but it's like not a bad one, like say a small profile addition, like there was one for baby amargas to hold on to the tails of adults. It was a cute idea, the profile writer was okay with it, and so it got added to profile. So if people wanted, like Yui was changed to forest based on suggestions, if people wanted to turn back in suggestions, would it, as an example? That is kind of dependent, okay? Because sometimes there are times where, let's say we make a change, but the change, you know what, it didn't actually go according to plan. We are okay with reverting it or making adjustments. There is very rarely a time where a change is fully committed to. And sometimes things don't work or circumstances change. POT is a game, and PTR is a server that is constantly changing, and that's something we take into account. Granted, I do not try to revert changes like immediately after they're made. I typically like to give it a month or two to like settle in and see, okay, what are the true lasting effects of this change before I go in and revert it. Those kinds of things. I think that covers it for the most part.
Okay. I think we can move on to the next segment.
The profile will not be getting changed significantly enough for Iggy to warrant a new expedition.
Yeah, you just gotta consider if your sub-bowl buddy is within 2 body links. That's about it.
Yeah. And like the profile is getting tweaks, I will say that. Just because Iggy is a very fucking long profile. Stry! And could be trimmed down a little bit.
You really had to call her out like that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. I love you, Stry. I love you so much. Your profiles are so long. But okay. It's fine. It's all part of the process.
Yes.
I think that covers about all of it, and we did go over feedback and suggestions. Oh, I was talking more about community feedback. So, I think that there's yeah, when it comes to community feedback, I just wanted to clarify for some people that we're very careful about responding to community feedback because, you know, if we respond to one, it's not fair if we don't respond to all of them. So that's why you won't see us respond as much, except when it's a staff member and they're acting as staff to clarify a misconception or misinformation. But like when it comes to like directly responding to feedback, we try our best to not, but I guarantee you we all see it. We talk about it in staff chats, we talk about it amongst each other, and we think about like how we could improve and like how we can take it. And trust me, negative feedback is just as valuable as positive feedback. We do listen to it, and you know, we're big boys. It won't hurt our feelings too bad when we do see negative feedback. It might, like, depending on it, it might be a little disheartening. Remember, we're human too, but we do strive to just give people a good experience overall. Like that's what the server's all about. We just want to give people a good experience, and that's coming from a place of genuine. Like I know like it's very sappy and very cheesy, but that's genuinely why we run the server every day. I just wanted to note, when you do see staff responding to feedback, I would please read it with both a neutral tone and as like, you know, as staff itself, because like that's when we're putting on our staff hats and we're like, okay, we need to start enforcing our rules and stuff. And part of that is because maybe it's not clear how we take community feedback, and we'll be clarifying that in the form of like a form or something like that. Like we're workshopping it right now because we do think that there's some misunderstanding when it comes to giving feedback. So I just wanted to address that, and that kind of segues into our next topic, which is the zero tolerance. We'll be taking questions on both after this segment, but the zero tolerance document, I went in this morning, and we'll add it to the update log as well, but I did go in this morning and I clarified a few things. We didn't add anything. We always let you guys know the day of when we add something. What I did was I went in and clarified. You guys can go look at it now. All I did was go in and I clarified some sentences. I explained some of our reasoning and stuff like that. It's now no longer 1 page. It's 2 pages. But we just wanted to say that when people applied, because there was some misconceptions about this earlier, when you apply to this server, you have agreed to follow this document all the way through. It is the first question that you agree to on the application, and that has been there since the beginning, since we created the server. That question's always been there. This document, I saw some people saying that they don't know if it's mandatory or not. It is. It's in Discord Rule 1, and it says that you must follow this document. So, I don't know where the miscommunication happened around there, but I just wanted to address that our zero tolerance policy, you must follow it. It is absolutely mandatory, and I did clarify that we are an international server. We come from all areas of backgrounds. We come from different cultures. We're not US centric. Some of us may live in the US and, you know, we communicate from the US, but that doesn't restrict us to just US centric ideas. So, that's why this list exists, because we wanted to let people in other countries see that, hey, okay, this word in my country means something else, but it is on this list, so I probably shouldn't say it. That's really what it is. So we just wanted to clarify that this zero tolerance policy is absolutely mandatory, and it is reviewed in a case-by-case basis. Which was another thing people were wondering. They're wondering, like, how does it get moderated? Why are some punishments different than others? It's because we go through them individually. We look at who made the comment, how was it made, what is the context it was made in, are they reclaiming it, are they affiliated with it? We'll go and we'll actually speak to people who are involved with the word in question. Like, there was a large conversation regarding the D slur in regards to lesbians, and we went and communicated with people who are lesbians. Like, because I'm not. I am part of the LGBTQ, and like I think all of the wardens are. I'm pretty sure all the wardens are.
I think so.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure our entire friend group is, but like we do want to speak to people on, you know, we can't be speaking for people. And the same thing applies to racial slurs and cultural differences. We always go and we make sure that we speak to people from those cultures and from those races, because we cannot speak for everyone, and we do understand that we are not spokespersons either. Like, I'm Hispanic, but I do not speak for all of Hispanic people, obviously. So that's why we'll go in, and it takes a long time because we need to get into contact with some people. I have a group of friends of mine. We're all people of color, and I'll go in and I'll ask them for their input on things as well. And that's just, it's a very, very touchy situation, and it's something that we handle very delicately, because what may be offensive to one person is not offensive to another. And we have to consider what are colloquial terms, what are reclaimed terms, especially in the modern day. So it is very carefully deliberated on, and that's why I wanted to clear up that whenever people say that we are inconsistent, it's because we are. We are inconsistent because we go on it for a reason, on a case-by-case basis. Someone who is calling themselves a reclaimed slur and do not recognize it, and it is not on the sheet, will be like, okay, well, it is reclaimed, but it is a slur in many areas, and they'll be like, well, not in my area. We'll be like, that's a good point. Let's add it to the list, and you're not going to get banned because you didn't know. And that, it's stuff like that. We have to take in all these factors and apply those to the situation. So if there are any questions regarding the zero tolerance policy or how it's handled, go ahead and ask them, and I am available to answer.
I will be right back.
You're good? I'm gonna go through and see if we missed any questions.
Excuse me.
A lot of Giga talk.
Not my jurisdiction. I don't touch profiles.
Yeah.
That's for Toby Knight.
We'll go over the inspiration. Well, might as well go over it. And the creation story. Toby can retell it. We told it at the beginning for the early birds, the people who got here really early, or maybe we'll keep it as a secret. It's gonna be on the broadcast. This will be available later, so you guys can always look at it later.
Hold on, Hydra has a zero tolerance question. Do you have these conversations before or after giving an initial ban reaction? Simply because I know some people who seemingly haven't had one but have been banned. So that entirely depends on what they said, because if it's very clear cut, if somebody has said a slur, we don't need to. If it's a slur that's very common, that most people would know is a slur, that's not something that we need to pull them aside and be like, hey, why did you say the N-word?
Yeah. The N-word that's not up for discussion. If you use that, it's kind of cut and dry, regardless of what country you're in. Other countries know. Other countries do know. We know because our friend group is very big, and we have people who are in other countries that will tell us.
Yeah, but in cases where we do need to pull them aside and speak to them, because again, it depends on is the slur on the list. If the slur is on the list, that means they are getting full penalty because it is on the list. They've read our Discord rules. They know this list exists. If it's on the list, it's kind of just sorry, that's not something we can bend on. You're receiving a ban because we have spelled it out for you completely that it exists, it's on the list, and it's not something that we take lightly because in the end it is zero tolerance, If it's a term that's not on the list and if it's something that leaves room for discussion that maybe we need to reach out, if it's not a very commonly used word or anything, that is when we pull people aside and kind of speak to them about it.
And as for people who haven't had a discussion, everyone is notified when they are banned. Everyone is notified. There's a ban message. We have a record of it as well. Every ban we give people a certain amount of time before removing them from the server to see their message. If they're gone for 2 days, they might miss it, but for the most part, it's a 24-hour wait. But if it's serious, they'll just get removed immediately, and there's no room for appeal. Sorry, but saying the N-word is just not okay, especially when you're using it in a derogatory sense. Like, we know that people know what that means. For initial ban reactions, so yes, there have been times, because we are only human, there have been times where the wardens will be offline. Like, there was a time, it was 4 a.m. for all of us. We're in similar time zones. Just the three of us.
I was at work.
Yeah, you were at work, because you work at 2 a.m., freak. I was in bed, because it's 4
I'm back, by
a.m.
the way.
Welcome back. And Toby is also probably in bed at 4 a.m. So we were all out. And if we had just left it up, I would prefer our staff do something rather than do nothing. Because doing nothing can do more harm than doing something and having to walk it back later. So there have been times where our staff will act because we're not there, and they will act to the best of their ability, and I can't blame them for that. Even if it is a blunder, they're doing what they think is best, and even if it's wrong, well, like, incorrect. I shouldn't say wrong, but incorrect. We'll go back and we'll be like, hey, there was some miscommunication here, and we just like to walk this back and be like, hey, this happened, and we want to amend that, and we do apologize for it. But if it happens in the moment, it happens in the moment, and we will be subject to make mistakes. Obviously, you know, we're human, staff are human, but I really can't blame them for that. If it comes down to it, for the most part, we are usually online, and we have changed staff moderation in regards to zero tolerance now. We require them to have everything go through wardens. Like, we want to make sure that everything is all above board. And but like I said, if it is like serious enough and they're like, I gotta delete this and I gotta do something about it, like I gotta put the user on timeout, then we give them full rights to do that, because doing something is better than doing nothing. I see someone ask a question. Even if someone has a clean record, not recorded, no current strikes and or warnings, they still could never appeal for saying a no-no word, whether it's intentional or accidental. No, because we take that into account. If it's intentional or accidental, that is something that we mean when we take it into account. It is case by case basis. I can't give you a flat answer of like, this will be a permaban no matter what, because there are people who are black and will say the N-word because it's a reclaimed slur. But they also, for the most part, know not to say reclaimed slurs in public. Like, I'm Hispanic, and I know not to say reclaimed slurs in public. You usually ask permission. It's common courtesy to ask permission when using that kind of language around them. So it's really just like a common courtesy thing. You don't use that kind of language unless people are okay with it, because there are some people that are not okay with it, and it can do real harm to them. And we have to consider those people when we moderate, because if you say something, even if you don't mean to be harmful, it can do real damage. Going back to the benefit of doubt, they're very good at looking at all sides. Oh, yes. We do try to look at all sides. We and obviously human beings are prone to confirmation bias, but we have tried our best to eradicate confirmation bias when it comes to looking through moderation things and moderation tickets and stuff like that. So we try to go in with open minds and like, you know, nobody's a bad guy here. Even if someone's reporting someone else, we look at the person who's being reported as just another party. We don't look at them as like the accused or whatever. But yeah, if there's any further questions, you guys just let me know.
You know, zero tolerance is something that's been brought up quite a bit recently, and people want more clarification on. So, if you do have questions, we are here to answer them now.
Granted, for more specific, like if you're talking about specific instances, it's better not. Consider the circumstances, you know, at the moment, and whether it is appropriate to ask certain things. If it comes down to it, you can also always open a talk to a mod ticket or talk to a warden. We have those now.
Yeah.
To ask questions about these sort of things.
I have an unanswered one above. Oh, sorry. Let me see.
Speak to Warden.
Let me see. But
Oh, we do have. Okay. I don't know. I don't have tickets, man.
let me.
They said, I'm sure there's some other LGBTQ phobic words I can't immediately think of, but the T word came to mind immediately.
That should be added, yeah.
The T word?
I feel like that's a very commonly known.
Sure. Go. I mean,
Slur.
if it's not common though, because I obviously
You immediately went the T word?
I don't know what they're talking about.
I think
Hold on.
the word against transgender
people.
individuals.
Oh, I thought that was kind of like obvious, but we
I
can
was
add
about
it
to
here.
say, I believe that's.
I feel like that one's
commonly-
really obvious. So like for
Yeah.
obvious ones, this document is only for uncommon ones that other countries may not know. For common ones, I mean, there's really no excuse.
Like
There's just not.
the F slur.
Like the F slur, that's just like, yes, people are like, oh, well, I'm in England. Nobody uses that language anymore. Sorry, we got friends in England, and they're like, they might, but like it's very context dependent, and it's kind of obvious when you're using it and how you're using it, you know?
Yeah,
I
like
do
if somebody
think-
were to call someone that word in PTR,
Oh
that
my
would
god.
We could
treated-
add it. You could just go ahead
It's
and
always
add the T-word.
always better to be safe than sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead and add
that way
it.
there's no room for argument.
Yeah. We just didn't want to have like a list of slurs. Is the
Yeah.
thing. We only wanted a list of uncommon ones because there are people in other countries that literally have no translation for the words that we recognize.
We have been in this situation where there have been slurs and we did not know because of our backgrounds. And
Yes.
we had to be corrected.
Yes.
Shout out to Pickno! Woohoo!
Shout out to Pickno. We're not Australian, which is crazy because we do have how many Aussies do we have?
A lot.
4 or
lot.
5?
I don't know.
We should have run it by them. We should have run it by them.
Well, that
I
was
didn't know,
before.
man.
That was before we had staff on the team. But yeah, Pickno had an Australian slur in the profile
Oh,
because.
I'm talking about our friend group.
Oh. I think like 2, maybe. 2
We have
Australian people.
No, we have 3. We have Kat, and we have Steph, and then we have Charlie.
Ah.
If you guys ever want to, if you have input on the document that is an uncommon slur that you see people using, you are free to open a Talk to Warden ticket, and we will
Obviously,
probably
don't-
add it.
Yeah, don't say the slur in the YouTube chat, but.
Yes,
Yes.
please don't.
No
please don't
slurs in
send us
YouTube
slurs.
chat.
Please don't send us slurs,
But
and
you can
also
go to the private reporting tab and open a Speak to Warden ticket, and we'll look at that.
Also, I will say, like I mentioned in the document, it depends on the colloquially accepted term. Because LGBTQ, the Q is for queer. Queer folk we have reclaimed that. It's been overwhelmingly reclaimed in many societies and in many cultures. So that is something like, we're not going to be banning people for that because it's overwhelmingly reclaimed. So
But context does matter.
context does matter. Like
You can't
I
point
call
at
my
someone
like
and call them that like as like an insult or anything.
yeah, but like when I refer to the people
queer
in the
community.
community, yeah, we call ourselves the queer community, or like they like to call themselves the queer folk. Like we're proud of it, and it is something that if someone is uncomfortable with, respect that, please. Like if they're like, hey, can you not use that word around me? Please respect that. That is also on the document. It says if somebody asks you not to use a certain word, you must respect that. And if you start disrespecting that, then then it is going to be a ban. Do you all take into consideration non-English speaking countries? Yes, I did cover this before. Everything on the list is because they don't mean the same thing in other countries. That's what the list is for. That way, if you are a non-native speaker, non-native English speaker, you can go into the list and you can see, oh, I cannot say this word because we have the word there for you. Let me see.
We'll have to make an update log, by the way, after this because we added a word to the document.
Yeah, we did. It's not hard to accommodate people that cost nothing. Just be polite. Yes, that's really all we ask. Like if someone asks you, hey, can you not use that language? Like, it's okay. It costs you nothing to just not talk. It actually costs you energy to type than it does to not. So, just come at it with that mentality. It's manners are free. We just want to be respectful to people, and you have to understand that people go through different things in their areas. And we have to be mindful of that. Some people are really out there struggling, and we want it to be a safe place for them just as much as it is for you.
Yeah.
But with that, I think we can wrap up this meeting unless there's any final questions.
Oh my gosh, we did it!
Did it! 114 minutes ago!
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to ask questions about upcoming events.
Heh. Where's that?
Now's the time to ask.
Upcoming events.
Upcoming events?
For zero tolerance, would people uploading PvP videos of you without permission outside means be against it? Or would it only go against rules if they refuse to remove it? Can you rephrase that question? I don't think I fully understand.
I think, so basically, it wouldn't be no zero tolerance. Zero tolerance is for, like, slurs and, discrimination and those kinds of things. That would fall under, Discord rule, I'm pretty sure it's 1, of just being respectful. So let's say somebody posts like a PvP video of you in clips and videos, and you're like, hey, I'm not really comfortable with you posting that, can you take that down? It is okay to ask that, and if they refuse to do so, you can take it up with a staff member, and we can get that sorted out. Because, it's, it doesn't cost anything to just not post something. With pot teasing Ramp, is its profile under consideration? It's being worked on. Cathrax, stop speaking. With the EO Expedition and the live streamer, is it an actual walkthrough in game with a naturalist trail guide? The Expedition will be handled like, the way we've handled all other expeditions. We'll be taken onto the test server, we'll be in there, and we'll be working on things. Yeah, no, I'm tired, okay? If I see the words Cathrex, I will be so tired. I think I will fall asleep in my computer. I will be that tired.
We fought so hard to remove Cathrex. Holy shit. I need you guys to understand the battle I was fighting.
I fought for you guys.
No, you be quiet. You stop. Stop with your mono and Cathrex.
I fought for the Cathrex lovers and the Monorex lovers, but I got outnumbered.
Don't care. Don't care.
Oh my gosh, we don't care.
No, because it's crazy. It's crazy because when the profiles were being written, when the profiles were being written, they're like, oh my god, we should do Cathrex because it's an ambusher. And I was like, I don't know about that. But they were like Cathrex, and I was like, okay, we can do Cathrex. And then we did Cathrex, and look where it got us. Look where it got us.
Oh, I would not go back to Cathrex. I like my Knockrex now. I was just kind of worried about, like, hunting time, but with rain, there's so much time to be able to hunt, because you have dusk, you have dawn, sunrise, sunset, whatever. You got, night, and you have rain. So that's a lot of time to be able to hunt. And also, you don't need to hunt 24/7 on Rex, man. You can sustain yourself on salt or burrows. Like, you should never... Yeah, and body. You should never start
with Utah's rework being resized, is it remaining medium or is it reclassified as small? I'm gonna make it small. I don't care. I'm making it small. It's pretty Kalinkin sized right now, and Kalinkin is small, so I'm making Utah small. It's one of those playables where it's kind of like, is it really medium? Like, do I compare it to Serato? No. Is it quite Latin or Dinon? No. But for the sake of, not having 20 billion medium carnivores, small. I also just prefer small Utah. Not really to mean, but has PTR ever thought about having some sort of social media where they share things made by the community? Did you know we have a TikTok?
We do have a TikTok.
That has not been posted on in ages, but we have one.
I forget about it. We do have a TikTok though. It is at PT Realism, and there's 2 videos on our TikTok. And I forget to do it because like I have to like put the videos up there, and I have the TikTok account or whatever. And then I have to ask people for permission to upload their videos, and it's like that's so much work. I have to talk to people.
No, well, what we should do is we should just have people like use a certain emoji if they want, if they don't mind.
We could have a thread, like we do for the highlight submissions. PTR content night. Give me videos. Give me videos to watch. And we could do stuff like that. Maybe it depends. I don't know. It's not PTR TikTok funny, but it's not a priority right now. Would you be up to doing another EO expedition with the pull time for people who commonly can't make it to the regular ones? It kind of depends. I'll be honest. I love doing expeditions because I like helping the community be informed and on top of things.
Yeah.
Group limit increase on Utah? I don't know about that.
We don't know how strong they're gonna be. We don't know if they're gonna be on the same strength, and just because they're small doesn't mean that they need those big group sizes, you know? It's not like, the larger the dinosaur, the less things... Nah, we're trying to make profiles unique and everything, and if it was a small dinosaur with small grouping, that's pretty cool.
I do not trust you and Curly handling PTR TikTok.
Gutted, because I got gutted by my internet. As I was saying, EO Expedition is only going to be hosted at one time. Expeditions take a long time. They take a lot of energy. I know I seem like a very cool and talkative and charismatic person, obviously, joke. But I do not like talking for 3+ hours at a time. It takes a lot out of me, and unfortunately I cannot do it a ton. So while there won't be multiple EO expeditions, there will be a recording available if you are unable to attend.
Yeah. PTR content real night when? Look at the events channel.
It is, it's quite literally in the events channel. Oh my gosh.
Open your eyeballs, Curly.
This is kind of crazy. Oh, was Curly who asked it?
Yeah.
What the fuck, Curly?
You think we would talk like that to other people?
I would.
Curly deserves to be bullied a little bit.
You said I could ask questions, not you. Somebody mute this guy.
We're specifically talking to Curly. Other people can ask stupid questions, just not him.
Whoops.
But yeah, Utah group size, it kind of depends on how they are balanced. And, you know, we'll see. We'll see. And I say that with fear in my eyes. The Alio expedition that happened a while ago.
This isn't Toby Talk Hour.
Alio expedition?
Yeah, there was an Alio expedition.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Goober.
This is entering Toby Talk Hours.
Hey man, I'm just really good at talking.
We are wrapping.
We're wrapping up. If you guys have questions about rules, wardens, staff, the server, the community feedback, zero tolerance policy, staff reviews, reports, tickets, etc., place them now.
Let us know. Yes, let us know.
Otherwise, I'm closing so I can go eat my steak sub that I got from Subway today and my raspberry cheesecake cookie.
That sounds so good. What the fuck?
You're making me hungry.
Have vanilla wafers.
Oh. I miss vanilla wafers and like banana pudding.
Oh no, not the good ones. No, not those. Those are little cookies. I mean, like little rectangles. You know, with like the cross hatching.
I don't like those.
Like the filling inside. Okay, well you can be wrong.
Yeah. I want vanilla wafers and banana pudding and whipped cream.
Oh, those are so good.
Right?
Well, it looks like there's no more questions coming in, so we're gonna call that.
I'll give it like 3 more minutes. Are questions
about event planner apps?
parchment size. We're reviewing them. We're reviewing
working
them. I
on it.
answered your question this morning.
How's the
We're
reports
slow.
going?
I do apologize because it is really slow, but you know, we'll get to those event planner apps
Yeah.
soon.
We're
Yeah.
working on it, man.
How are reports
It's
going?
on the list.
Shrugs. Let me check for you, because I can check and see when the last claimed was. Looks like we are on. Oh, I'm still scrolling down. Whoa, we're on February 22nd.
Are you deleting Ron's questions? Wow, we're already at February 22nd? That's great.
Yeah, we started and we were on February 5th, I think. We're on February 22nd now, so we are zooming through them.
Yeah.
That said, it is not 100% set in stone. Do not expect all of the reports and tickets to be gone through. That is likely not going to happen, but we are trying to do as much work as possible.
It also helps that the server's closed, so there's no more
Yes.
reports coming in. That's why it looks really good. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, when the server opens back up, it's gonna be another week wait time for reports, but hopefully not a month anymore. Hopefully 2 weeks is what we're aiming for.
You thought we were scary, and now you think we're not, guys. I think we went wrong.
What do we do? What do we?
I think we should
do
just start
scary?
banning people in chat.
I think that is
so
time to
too.
start banning people. I'm down with that.
I think I'm gonna ban
Ron
their
is
Discords as
first.
well. Yeah, Ben Ron.
Ron is the first one to get
Ron is
banned. I am putting your
first,
muzzle back on.
Archie, Curly, who else?
F.
Let's see.
Umo.
Pev,
F
you
is
thought
on
we're not
here.
scary? You're getting banned.
Ducky Dex.
Yep, get banned. Okay.
Alex, Noriyuko.
Thanks for being with us, but get out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Come on,
bye. Bye.
The door.
Bye, everyone.
Me
Bye.
next, they're begging.
Bye.
The children yearn for the
Bye.
bans. Thank
Bye.
you for
Bye.
attending.
Bye.
We are very thankful that you took the time out of your day to listen to us and get some insight into PTR and how it's run. We hope we answered your questions, and we hope that you feel a lot better about things. I hope you had a good time. There you go.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you guys for attending. I'll reiterate, if you have questions, open a ticket.
Last chance.
Oh no, not last chance. No, I'm closing down
Oh,
the
never
stream.
mind. The chance is gone.
The chance is
There
gone.
is
No
no
more
chance.
questions. But if you guys do have questions that you can't ask in questions channel, let's say maybe it's you're bringing a slur to our
Sensitive.
attention. Yeah, whatever. Sensitive stuff. Make a ticket.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
Subscribe. Yeah.
Subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and
Hit
subscribe.
that
Like and
bell.
subscribe.
Tomorrow's my Fortnite stream. I'm playing Fortnite Battle Pass. You guys can watch me
Let's go.
get a victory royale.